After seeing the trailers for My Spy, all I could think of was, hey, it's kind of an updated version of Kindergarten Cop. And once you know it after seeing the movie, that's pretty much what we got. And can I just say, that's not a bad thing? Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin' Movies. As always, I'm your host, the real Gino Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about Dave Bautista's new movie, My Spy, which was supposed to be released many a times in theaters, but kept getting pushed back. A lot of it because of what's going on in the world, and then Amazon said, you know what, we need some new content, so we're going to buy it and release it on Amazon Prime, so that's where you can see it right now. I will warn you, there's probably be some spoilers in this review. That being said, if you've seen the trailer, you pretty much know what you're going to get with this movie. So if you like the trailer, you're probably going to enjoy the movie. I'll also say if you've seen Kindergarten Cop, you pretty much know what you're going to get with this movie, even if you hadn't seen the trailer. Like I said in the intro, though, that's not really a bad thing. So if you enjoyed movies like Kindergarten Cop, well, I wouldn't say this one is as good as that. Or if you saw the trailer and enjoyed it, you're probably going to have a good time with this movie. What it's about is Dave Bautista plays JJ, who is a former Army Ranger turned CIA operative. He is on an undercover mission, and his cover gets blown, and then he blows everything up. His bosses are mad at him, but they give him one more chance, and they send him to Chicago with Kristen Shaw, who is his partner. She's the tech, he's the brawn. And they're supposed to look after the family of this terrorist. They're supposed to just stick with her. She's her husband is the brother of the villain. So they're supposed to watch after her, but they don't think anything's going to happen with that. Of course, we all know that everything's going to happen with them. So they're watching after them, but the 9-year-old daughter of the wife of the villain's brother, she discovers that JJ and his partner are spying, and she calls him out on it, and then she starts using him, as you've seen in the trailer, for other things. Now, it doesn't go right into teach me how to be a spy. It's first like, I need someone to go ice skating with me, but mom can't go. See, mom works all the time. Single mom works all the time. So she's like, can you do this with me? Can you do that with me? Things like that. And she's kind of just blackmail him, saying, I got this video of you, and I'll put it out there. And it's like, my career's over if I get blown, if my cover is blown by a 9-year-old. So he has to do these things. Of course, we find out later that, okay, I'll say this. I think I liked this movie a lot, not just because it was like Kindergarten Cop. I liked it because it wasn't only just fun. There is some creepy stuff. They did put cameras in the bathroom of the apartment of the people they're watching. And granted, they don't show anything, but just the implications of, hey, they put cameras in the bathroom. That being said, it makes fun of it. It's like, you put cameras in the bathroom? How could you, But what I like about this movie is it makes fun of action movie tropes. It makes fun of all sorts of different tropes for movies like this. When you think... you're thinking the whole time when the hero kind of goes rogue and does his own thing that no one's going to find out. It's his boss is just like, we're the CIA, we see everything. So they're watching him the whole time break all these protocols and everything. Of course, that everything works out in the end because they're in the right place at the right time. But there's things, it makes fun of action tropes like walking away from an explosion, just little things like that, and it just kind of makes fun of it the whole time. And that's what I think I dug about it, is because it was very self-aware. Now, I'm not saying this is a genius look or a genius like satire of like action movies or movies that have an adult and a little kid teaming up or whatever. It doesn't really break any new ground or anything, but it was just darn entertaining. Dave Bautista, I've said it before. I've liked him in some matches when he was in WWE, but I was never really a fan of his character. It took him becoming an actor for me uh, to really embrace him as a performer, whether it be Drax or this movie. Uh, I thought he was underused in Spectre. I would have loved to have seen him do more with him there. I'm not saying, all the movies he's been in have been great, but movies, he's usually been good in the movies he's in. I liked Stuber, and he was a big part of that. I liked his and Kumail Nanjiani's. I liked them working together. I liked their chemistry. And it's just movies like this that he can carry a movie. I've seen him in a couple serious things. I liked his little bit in Blade Runner 2049. I can't remember the name of the movie he was in, but he was like the lead where it was kind of like the city's gone to hell in a handbasket, and he's like a former military person who's got mental issues, and he helps this girl survive, getting through the city and everything. I can't remember the name of that movie, but he was really good in that, even though I hated the end of that movie. That's another story. But it's movies like this that just say, and I'm going to say it, a lot of people, whenever you're talking about wrestlers in movies or former wrestlers in movies, of course, most people name The Rock first, and a lot of people go right to John Cena. John Cena, his track record isn't the greatest. He's been good in some things, but his track record isn't the greatest. I think Bautista is probably the next thing. And honestly, I've liked more. Look, I like The Rock, and I like The Rock as an actor, but you can't tell me that a lot of what he's doing isn't getting old. Now, Bautista needs to spread out and do some more things. He's going to be in Dune. And of course, again, he was in Blade Runner 2049. I want to see him do more stuff like that because Dave Bautista has the ability to become a pretty good leading man. But in this, I love his comedic timing in this. He uses his dry wit. He's very convincing as the awkward, used to being alone type person, especially when they get into the love story in this, because just like Kindergarten Cop, granted, the love interest isn't a teacher, she's a nurse, but he gets with the kid's mom. So just like Kindergarten Cop, where Arnie falls in love with I can't remember if it's the teacher or the principal, who's the villain is the husband or the ex-husband. So it has that kind of a connection, but I like their awkward romance because she hasn't been in the game for a while. He's damaged goods, and it's just, I enjoyed it. Kristen Shaw and Dave Bautista have a really good chemistry together. She has a whole thing where she wants to be in the field. She wants him to teach her stuff. He's actually her like hero. And then Chloe Coleman, who plays Sophie, her and Dave Bautista have really good chemistry together. See, that's just it. For a film like this to work, to just be entertaining, the kid and the adult have to have good chemistry, and they're really fun together. You've seen it in the trailers where she's like laying into him, like with the lie detector test and everything. The movie has a lot of that stuff, and I really enjoyed it. When it comes to the story as a whole, it's what you expect. Now, unlike the villain in, say, like Kindergarten Cop, where we get more of him and he's like haunting the dreams of our hero and everything, the villain doesn't get a lot of airtime here. Doesn't get a lot of screen time because you basically he's coming. He's trying to find these plans for a weapon, and of course the brother hid them with his wife and kid, and hid it with his quote unquote best friend. You see a dog running around, you're like, yeah, it's in the collar. So you easily figure out where these plans are, and that's fine though. Again, I'm just enjoying the ride. The story as a whole isn't anything really original or anything, but I was just having a good time. I was laughing. I had fun. There was a couple instances where I was like, I said, okay, I watched it with my son, and I was like, yeah, there's Drax, and he knew that. And then of course he heard Kristen Shaw talk, and he's like, is that Mabel from Gravity Falls? And then I pointed out that Ken Jeong is Dynamite and Scoob, and he really liked that. So he had a good time watching it, which tells me he's I don't know if he's really ready for Kindergarten Cop, but I think he would really enjoy it. Kindergarten Cop. I mean, this movie has some language. Kindergarten Cop does too. So I just had a good time with this movie, though. I mean, here's the thing: if it would have been in theaters, I probably still would have had just as good a time. When these movies are done well, they're entertaining. I don't expect a movie like this to reinvent the wheel. This movie could have been a lot worse. The humor couldn't have worked. The chemistries couldn't have worked. Again, you probably could have used a stronger villain. But being that the villain ends up being a part of some of the jokes, you get to, you have the scenes where they're like walking away from explosions and stuff. He gets to like play into that stuff. So, again, he's not the most useful villain, but he's just like, hey, I'm villain one. I'm the number one villain. I'm gonna do bad things because I'm bad. The villain is just very generic. But you know what? A movie like this, I wasn't again expecting like this amazing villain. I was there to see Bautista be silly, interacting with a 9-year-old that seems to be smarter than him. One of the taglines of this movie is he's a pro, she's a natural. So I wondered if this movie was going to do something at the end where like all of a sudden she's an agent or something, but they didn't, thankfully. I was afraid this movie was going to do something that dumb, but it didn't. Granted, who knows, maybe they'll make another one or something. I doubt it, but because I think it's just it's a fun one-off. But yeah, it's just a fun, entertaining movie that if you like movies like Kindergarten Cop or stuff like that, or any movie where it's like an adult and a kid interacting, and usually the kid is, the one that's getting one over on the adult, you would enjoy this movie. It's not perfect, not all the jokes land, but for me, it was just a fun, entertaining movie that, while again I would have had fun in the theater watching it, it's free on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it at home and have a few laughs that way. That's going to be all for this edition of Talkin' Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Gino YouTube channel. Like this video. If you have anything to say about Dave Bautista's My Spy, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Till next time, I'm your host, the Real Gino Reynolds. See you later.